Alright, so today I'll be going over Havik, and Havik is a defensive footsie-based fighter with some light zoning and a lot of setups with his projectiles. So, as always, we need to start with his specials. So his first special is called Neoplasm. It's back forward 1, and it looks like that. It's a high projectile, which on paper seems pretty average, and when it hits like that, your opponent gets staggered for a little bit. Now, this is a very important projectile for Havik because this is his main launcher. You're going to be doing a lot of combos into it. And I dropped that one. But yeah, this is his main launcher, which means all of your combos are started that way. He has no natural launchers as part of his strings. And it's actually unique in that it's attached to Havik for a little bit. Which means you can kind of move with it just for a few frames. Now, what you really use this for is you would set it up at either mid or, full screen, and it moves at a speed where you can safely approach your opponent. And because it's a high, they're either gonna duck it or they're gonna jump it. If they duck it, you do a back 2-2 because that's mid and you get a full combo from it. If they jump it, you can, down 2 because Havik has a really good down 2. Or if the angle is too steep, you do stand 3. And you can confirm that into back forward 2, which I'll show later. But yeah, Neoplasm is very important, and on block, it is very safe to do. -4. Now, it's still high, so what does that mean? The 26 frame startup, your opponent can see that the heart is coming out, and they can just crouch jab you, and the projectile is gone, and then your pressure is gone as well. But yeah, it's what you would do to set up and approach safely. Now the enhanced version is pretty interesting. It becomes a mid and it's attached to Havik for a lot longer, and then it attaches to your opponent. So when you have a lot of hit advantage from a knockdown, you can guarantee and set that up and just safely approach. If your opponent gets hit by it, anywhere on the screen, even from not getting comboed, it launches them, which is really good. But yeah, you would set that up so you can safely get in on your opponent and approach and really do whatever you want. When you use it right next to your opponent, and if they stance block like this, it will actually hit your opponent before it attaches to them, which again is also something you can use to your advantage. But mainly, you'll just be using the regular version to launch your opponents and to safely approach. Now his next special is down back 1. It's called Helping Hand. This is his big launcher special. It's a mid -5, 59 frame startup, so it's really slow. But to compensate, they gave Havik 1 hit of armor. And there's very few characters that can eat through that many hits that fast. So the main things you need to watch out for with this is that if you're at mid-screen, people are just gonna backdash, and there's 44 frames of recovery on it, which means you eat a full combo, or they can jump over it. And again, you'll eat a full combo. In the corner, if you do it from a block string, the amount of time they have to react to that is very little, which means if they try to jump out, they'll get caught going up in mid-air, and they'll just have to block it. Now, some characters do have armored reversals that have multiple hits, which means they can eat through the armor of it. But the enhanced version actually does more chip damage, and it has 3 hits of armor. Now, this is what both versions look like on hit. So the first one, on a clean hit, it's a launcher. If they try to hit you out of it, it becomes a hard knockdown. If I can just time it right. It becomes a hard knockdown like that, 10 frames of hit advantage, and you can set up a heart and continue pressure. And it does like 14% damage. The enhanced version, 3 hits of armor like I said, and it becomes also a hard knockdown, 22% damage. That is a lot. And on a clean hit, it's a crumple state restand. So you get to go straight into a combo right afterwards. So really good for corner pressure. If your opponent likes to do get-up reversals a lot off of hard knockdowns, you can just do that on wake-up, and there's really not much they can do from it. And as I said, you can do it in the middle of a block string, and there's not really much they can do about it. Or you can do it on wake-up when you have a lot of hit advantage, such as not from that one. Yeah, I'll show it later. Right here, this one. You can do it on wake up and there's again not much they can do about it. So they just have to block it. Now, your Kameo will affect how often you get to use it, but you should be able to use it at least once because of the next special I'm going to show, which is Bloodbath. Back forward 2. It's a high that goes quite a distance, and he low profiles, which means he goes under projectiles. Now, it is a hit throw. It is not a real throw, which means your opponent can block it and they can duck it. And if that happens, you eat a full combo either way. So really, you get a lot of hit advantage from it. I believe it's around like 11 frames. You'll see right here. Oh, 15. So that means you get to set up a heart and approach freely without, danger of getting jab checked out. Now, your opponent can still armor reversal through after that, but yeah, it's a very good combo ender in the corner because there's like no knockback in the corner because it's the corner, and the enhanced version is pretty unique as well. So the enhanced version of the special takes 2 bars of meter, and it does a little more damage, but mainly it attaches that red thing to them. And when that red thing is attached, you get an unblockable combo if you press back forward 2 again. Now the damage on that combo is heavily scaled because it is unblockable, but what can happen is that it'll force your opponent to play in really weird ways, where they'll basically just have to, they might try to just armor through it. And that can look something like this. Like so. And he's gonna go, okay, he has the unblockable on me. I'm gonna try and armor through it. Stuff like that can happen, but if their armored move doesn't go very far, then what you do get is a free hit of around like 3% with the unblockable, but the unblockable doesn't go away. It's still attached to them, which means you get to use that unblockable twice, technically. So yeah, this is definitely a move that you do not want to just throw out, the enhanced version that is. You do want to get a combo and confirm 100% that you'll get it, because it's 2 bars of meter, and that's a lot to spend on one special that may or may not hit, so you want to confirm into it. Now his next special is going to be his Back Forward 3. Back Forward 3 is his other projectile. This one's a mid. It's called Seeking Neoplasm, and it's not actually full screen. If Sub-Zero were to duck from full screen, that's not what I wanted to do. If Sub-Zero were to duck, it would go right over him, even though it's technically a mid. But yeah, it's a very long startup, so again, you would want to get a hard knockdown and a lot of hit advantage to use it. But again, you can approach with it, and in the name, it does say Seeking, and for the first few frames, it actually will follow your opponent. It does home for a little bit, though it is very hard to set up that situation in practice mode, but I'm sure you can find videos of it. But yeah, it's a pretty decent projectile, very long startup. On block, of course, it's gonna be safe if I can have him stand up and block it. And that's what it looks like on block. And if I were to actually land that, it is a natural launcher as well, so you can go into a back forward 2, or maybe you're close enough and you can get a full combo. But yeah, this is definitely one of those projectiles where you would use it in tandem with back forward 1, because though it homes for the first few frames, people can very easily just jump right over it, and there's a good amount of recovery to it, and it has that long startup. So yeah, definitely use it to zone after you've gotten a lot of hit advantage. Just throwing it out by itself can be very much bad for you, because again, people will just jump right over it. So yeah, again, it's another tool where you can set it up and kind of approach safely, as it is mid. But if you're around this distance, you can definitely just follow behind it. But yeah, not as good as his back forward 1, I would say, but it's still very good and you will be using it. The enhanced version actually shoots out 2 projectiles, and they're both mid. And again, you safely approach. If it hits, well, it launches up quite a lot, so you can easily confirm into a back forward 2, or you can go into a full combo. Now, his last special is called Twisted Torso, down back 4, and The regular version is all highs, and it looks like that. So really the main use for this one is to end combos with, especially if you're just playing Havik, you know, without a character that can extend combos. So you would use it like that, and you get a lot of hit advantage from it. And so you can set up a heart, continue to approach. It's especially good in the corner as well to end combos there. Now, the other use for it is on block. This move does a lot of chip damage. If you see in the top right, he took around 6% chip damage, which is quite a lot. So you can definitely close out games by doing a block string into twisted torso to chip out your opponent and get the round or get the match. The enhanced version, it does even more damage. And all the hits become mids. And when it hits, you get more hit advantage. You get 27 frames of it. But really the main thing is that more damage, more chip damage, and combos with it, and definitely use it to chip out your opponents if they are very low on health. Now that is it for his specials. They are all, you're going to be using all of them. Mainly his back forward one. It's his main launcher. It lets him get in very safely, and this is what you'll set up majority of the time. I'm not going to go through all of his strings because frankly some of them you probably won't really use and you're just going to forget about them after this video. But the main ones to know are 1-1-2, forward 1-2-2, 2-2-1 and 2-2, and his back 2-2 strings, and his forward 4. So that's a majority of his move list, so we'll just get right into that. 1-1-2, high mid overhead, very safe on block. Now a big problem with a lot of his strings is that they're all high starters except for 2 of them. Now another thing about Havik is that he has a lot of overheads. So what that means is a lot of people are just going to stand block you all the time. They're not really going to crouch block. And you'll see how they mitigate that later, how NRS devs have mitigated that. So 1-1-2, high mid overhead, very safe on block. That last hit is 23 frames, so they can do an armored reversal right through it. But otherwise, very safe. Lots of pushback on it as well on hit. So as you can see, not in range to, you can space it in a way where you won't be in range to jab check. And what you do is you can set up a whiff punish scenario. So you can do 1-1-2, backdash, back 2-2, and if they pressed, you get a combo. Or if you want to just keep up pressure, you can do 1-1-2 and go for a down 3, 10 frame, decently reaching low, and continue pressure. They can't press any buttons because you're +3 frames on it, and it's very easy to stagger this. 1-1 is also +3, high mid. So you can do 1-1, backdash, back 2-2, 1-1, real throw, or 1-1-2, and just keep getting those plus frames, and just keep pressuring. Now, if you do go into another 1-1, if your opponent does go for the jab check, they'll go right under it, and you lose pressure, which is why if your opponent likes to jab check a lot, you jab check first, because you'll beat them every time. Or you do a backdash with punish. Now on hit, this move gives you a lot of hit advantage, and it launches your opponent across the screen. So you set up a heart and you approach safely. Because you have the heart set up, it's guaranteed that you get either regular or enhanced heart. There is a little bit of timing to it to get it right on the frame where Havik is active again. But yeah, main thing you'll do, 1-1-2, set up a heart, or you might want to set up his back forward 3 instead, and safely approach on hit. In the corner, this string really shines, and I will show you that right now. So 1-1-2 in the corner. They can't roll away from you, and you get all that hit advantage still. So that means you can still go ahead and do 1-1-2 into a heart. They have to still block. You can do 1-1-2 into a low, or you can backdash, back 2-2. There's a lot you can do in the corner from this string, and you get to just keep up a lot of pressure, especially on block as well, because they don't really back up as much. You can just keep doing 1-1-2, 1-1 chamber, and just keep pressuring. It's a very good string. You're going to use it a lot. Now, the next string I will go over is his forward 1 2 2. Forward 1 2 2. High mid overhead. And it looks like that. 49 frames of hit advantage. So back forward 3 is guaranteed from it. Back forward 1 is guaranteed from it. So all of your projectiles are completely guaranteed if you land forward 1 2 2. Forward 1 by itself is 11 frames, and it's a forward moving fast button, which means if your opponent is at around this distance whiffing buttons, whiffing a full string, you just forward 1 2. You can do forward 1 2 into a full combo, and forward 1 by itself actually picks up quite a bit. So you can see right there, I got that full combo because forward 1 actually bounces your opponent quite a bit. Now, on block, this string is still really, really good. Now, that last hit does have that long startup, but you're still +3 afterwards, and you're spaced out in a way where jab checking whiffs if no one's blocking, but also if they try to jab check, backdash, back 2-2 punish. And of course, you're very plus on block, as I said. Yeah, it's a very good string. You'll be using it a lot. You're going to use it in the corner and in combos a lot to pick up your opponent. And yeah, you're going to use it a lot. Not much else to say about it. It's a very good string. The next string I want to go over is 2-1 and 2-2. So 2-1 is a high mid that's +6 on block, and on hit, it knocks your opponent down and you're +38. So that means you're guaranteed you get a hard out, but also you can actually do down back 1 and your opponent will just have to sit there and block it because they can't jump because you're already going to be swinging that arm down by the time they're up again. So it'll catch them in the air, they can't backdash, they'll just have to block it. So yeah, 2-1, very good. Use it in the corner as well to continue pressure. You can do a 1-1-2 in the corner into 2-1. He does move forward a little bit as well. You're +6. They can't really do anything afterwards. Again, be careful. High starter, so if they do go for that jab check, they'll go right under your next string. But if they jab check and they do it a lot, then you jab check and you'll beat them every time. Continue pressure. 2-1, very good. Now 2-2 is not so good, frankly. It's a high overhead mid, and the last hit is also 20 frames. It's -5 on block, which means it's safe. Oh yeah, 2-1 is also very safe. But yeah, 2-2 is also safe on block, but -5, and the second and third hit are attached to each other, which means, you know, you're just pressing 2 buttons, but the last 2 hits come out together, basically. And this can be a pretty problematic string, especially if you use it in combos. So on hit, it looks like this. Hard knockdown, 18 frames of hit advantage, set up a heart, continue pressure. Now in a combo, you can accidentally do it, and it will always whiff, and there is 34 frames of recovery on that last hit, which means your opponent gets a full combo punish. So never ever do that in a combo. Now stand 2 is actually very good to do in combos, mainly corner combos, as I will show later actually, because it picks up a lot. But what can happen is that you may accidentally get a back forward 2, or you accidentally get 2-2, neither of which you want. So you have to be very careful with this 2-2 string, because on whiff, it's so bad, and you can never ever land it in a combo. Now what you can do is that if your opponent was crouch blocking, the overhead part can be quite hard to react to for some people, because it does look fairly fast. So what you can do is actually confirm the second hit into a cameo that will extend, like Sub-Zero for example, and you'll get a, you know, full combo like that. But yeah, 2-2 in a combo is bad. As a combo starter, not so bad, especially because you can just cancel into, you know, your cameo and make yourself safe on block. But it's not as good as his other strings, and it'll definitely get you killed if you try to use it in a combo. Stand 2 by itself is actually really good because it picks up a lot and it's perfect, absolutely perfect for corner combos. Now, his next string I want to talk about is back 2-2. Best string, main string that you're going to be using. It's his true 50-50. It's either back 2-2, 1+3, mid throw, which means they have to duck that throw, or it's back 2-2, 4, and that's a low, safe on block. So this is his main with punish string. You're going to set it up a lot. You're going to do like 1-1-2 into a backdash, back 2-2 into a full combo. It's a pretty slow mid, but it's very forward moving. So you're going to space it out a lot with punish with it. Space it out with punish. And even on block, you can set up a back forward 1 and approach with it. And now they just have to guess, is he going to throw me? And which, if you do, you get a lot of hit advantage, 16 frames, set up a heart, approach again, back 2-2, continue to guess. Or instead you could do a micro walk forward and actually sweep. Or instead of doing sweep, you could do forward 4, which I'll show that string later. But yeah, it's an extremely good string. It's a true 50-50 for Havik, where they either duck the throw, and if they do duck the throw, there's a lot of recovery on it, which means that you will get absolutely a full combo from it. If they don't duck it though, and you get the low, you get a nice knockdown with a lot of hit advantage, or if they block it, you're safe on block. And I will show you what it looks like on hit. So the low gives you 19 frames of hit advantage, so continue pressure. You're spaced out in a way where you can go right into another back 2-2, and you can stagger with it pretty well. Because the second hit is only a -4, and if they're expecting the throw or the low, they're really scared of it, you've been using it a lot, you stagger with it, backdash, and you know, you can do another back 2-2, or you can do back 2-2, 1-1 stagger, back 2-2 into a regular old real throw, all that. Basically, back 2-2, very, very good string, his most important string. If someone's whiffing a string at like this distance, back 2-2 will almost always catch them. Though, if they're a little bit closer, you do have to be careful, as back 2-2, he is considered airborne, at least his back 2. So if he gets hit, he'll get bounced into the air and they get a full combo on you. But yeah, most important string. Now, his last string I want to talk about is forward 4-3. So he has a lot of overheads. To mitigate that, they gave him forward 4, which is this forward moving low. -6 on block, so it's safe. Second hit is also safe, and it's another low. And depending on your cameo, you can make this string really good and really scary. So on hit, it just looks like that. You get 9 frames of hit advantage, so you can set up a heart from it and continue pressuring. But if you have a specific cameo, like I have Sub-Zero, you can make this string really scary by confirming that first hit into Sub-Zero, and you get a full combo. So that wasn't a real combo because, you know, I slowed it down to explain. Yeah, you can make this string absolutely scary for people to constantly be on the lookout for, which means they'll start crouch blocking, which means you can start opening them up and doing back 2-2s and all that jazz. You get the idea. It's a fairly good string to throw out every now and then, just not all the time, because then they'll just, you know, crouch block it all day. But even on block, there is good pushback on that, to where like they can down 1 you, but you're safe. And if they down 1 you, there's enough pushback on the down 1 where you'll be at a distance to, you know, back 2-2 with punish or do a down 4. And these are going to be this is going to be the last button I want to show you. His down 4 is extremely, well, actually 2 buttons. His down 4 and his back 4. His sweep, super far reaching, -4, -5, depending on how far you are. And this catches a lot of people. He is safe, and it reaches hella far. You can do it right after a back 2-2 throw if you micro walk forward, and it'll catch a lot of people. Do it in the corner on wake up, and if someone tries to jump out, it'll catch them. And of course, yeah, someone's at around mid-screen, they're walking back and forth. You hit them with a sweep. There's whiffing buttons, whiffing strings. You hit them with a sweep. Very good. And now his down 4 is actually even better. So, down 4 on hit, and back 4 on hit. Lots of hit advantage from sweep. Down 4 pushes them back a bit. 9 frames of hit advantage. So you can set up a heart from there. On block though, this is a completely different move. It's so good on block. It reaches really far. And the amount of pushback on block, look at that. Look at, it's basically put me in a position where I can just backdash back 2-2. I'm safe to do it because they're so far away. Sure, it's minus 12, but that pushback just makes this move so good. It's really one of his best normals that he has, because you can go straight into a back 2-2 from it, and you're at a perfect distance where you can whiff punish and all that. His down 4 is just really, really good. Now, this is the part where I tell you about how Kameo reliant Havik is when it comes to his damage, because frankly, Havik by himself, he does not do a lot of damage. The most you'll get is like 25 and just under 30% just by himself, and all of his combos are basically the same. It's just you do a 1-1 or a 2-2 or a forward 4 into heart, and then you do forward 1 or back 2-2 into an ender that would either be down back 4 or, you know, something else. And, you know, this is what they look like. This is what his combos basically always are. But even then, some of them are a little finicky. Like that. That's really what you would do. In the corner, his combos are much better, much more damaging, but still only around 25 to 29%. So corner combo, you would do something like this. Whoops. I messed it up a bit. Stand 2, like I said, bounces a lot. And you would do loops with his heart like that. Back 2-2 as well. Again, stand 2. Back 2-2, stand 2. Stand 3. Get a heart set up. So that is another thing about Havik's combos. You don't really want to end them in any traditional way that you would do with other characters, because it's much better to get a heart set up on your opponent instead of, you know, just ending them, because then you can go ahead and freely pressure as soon as they get up again. So really, you wouldn't want to end them with like down back 4 unless you're going for the kill, you know, you're going for that round win or match win. But yeah, that is the basic gist of his combos. They're not really anything to write home about. Even with cameos, so his best cameo all around is Sub-Zero. Ice armor makes it so you're impervious to fireballs, so you'll always win fireball wars. You'll always be able to set up your fireballs from full screen and all that, and you'll be able to safely approach. His little ice shoulder makes it so on hit you can get your opponent really far away and more hit advantage, or on block it will make you safe instead of, you know, just ending with something else like that. And his forward assist is, of course, the freeze, and he freezes them for so long that you can do a down back 1 and get a nice neat little combo. And it's actually so long that you can do both enhanced back forward 1 and enhanced back forward 3 into a neat little combo, though you probably wouldn't want to do that because the damage scaling is going to be really, really high. So that is it for like the gist of Havik's combos. I'll show you some combos with Sub-Zero now, though. They're basically the same as they were with just Havik by himself. Again, like, you'd barely just break 30%. But this is like his most damaging combo. You get a lot of hit advantage from that one, so you do get a free heart setup, and there's a lot of carry on it, so more often than not, it'll end in a corner. But yeah, that's really it for his combos. There's really not much to say about them. They're all the same. That's not his main source of damage. His main source of damage is, you know, he'll be setting up and doing a lot of things on block and all of that. Main source of damage is just whiff punishing into those combos, not really the combos themselves, because, you know, they're pretty whatever. But that is it for Havik. He is definitely an interesting character, though, you know, I main Havik, so like playing him for as long as I have, he can get really boring. He's very defensive. So you're gonna, a lot of your matches, the time on the clock is gonna get down to like 20 seconds because you're rarely ever gonna be doing like anything crazy up close rush down stuff. You're just gonna be setting up a heart, safely getting in, and then you do a little block string, you make him guess throw or low, and then you backdash with punish. That's really your main game plan as Havik, nothing else. And as I said, combos are really just whatever. There's not really much there. They're all the same. But yeah, that is it. This is a definitely a unique character, though. If you ask some people, you'll definitely say he's a boring character, even though, you know, he's pretty funny. But if you want to see some high-level Havik gameplay, you know, there's always Wise Gemini, who's always streaming Havik on like Twitch. There's CEO Taku just happened like a few days ago, and that's like the first Mortal Kombat 1 major, and there were 3 Havik mains in top 8, so you can definitely go there to check out some high-level Havik. But that is it for this video. I really hope this helps. Havik is very simple, straightforward. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. The next one is gonna be Baraka, so if you're... He is way more swaggy than Havik in terms of how he looks and how he plays and all the stuff you can do with him. So look forward to that. I'll see you then.